Hi, I'm James Vogel, founder and director of the Bioprocess Institute, and this is Between Two Ferals. Today's guest is Dan Mathien. Dan is the Biopharmaceutical Sales Manager for Behringer Corporation. He has over 30 years experience in stainless steel sanitary tubing, pipe supports, fittings, valves, custom fabrications, and manufacturing. I have worked with Dan through the ASME-BPE. He is the current chair of the Dimensions and Tolerances Subcommittee, a member of the Standards Committee, and was the past vice chair of the entire standard. Please join me in welcoming Dan Mathien. Welcome, Dan. Welcome to the Bioprocess Institute and Between Two Ferals. Glad to see you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Jim.
Yep, we're happy you're here. And so, you know, we were trying to get you here for quite some time. We actually started talking about filming this, I think, before COVID. And it's taken us a few years to get you here, but we're happy you're here.
Well, again, I'm glad that we are now in a situation where we can get together and talk about all the different things going on that we missed in the last few years. So, again, I appreciate you having me.
Well, good. So let's talk a little bit about the BPE, because there were a lot of challenges. You were vice chair during these challenging times, as we say. And, you know, a big change, because we never had virtual meetings before COVID and stuff, and you had to institute some things on the fly. And so how did that go? And how is BPE now?
Well, it definitely forced us to, you know, stretch the rules as far as how ASME conducts meetings and learn how on the fly to host meetings virtually and conduct voting through different means than a live meeting where people will you know say yay or nay and raise hands. So we adapted that pretty quickly. I think we didn't lose any time as far as our publication cycle, which is a two-year cycle, as well as you know, meetings in between, so 3 meetings a year. So we stayed on. Fortunately, we were able to stay right on our target dates and publish the standard in the year that it
was supposed to be.
So
yeah.
That's been quite an interesting process. We learned a lot.
So I think for some of the folks, just so you understand, ASME is an ANSI accredited standard, a consensus standard, and there are strict rules in the voting. So it's not like something, like you said, that just can be wings. So there were a lot of changes going from the in-person style of voting, or there is a tool called CNS Connect, but then even to have the debates and how to do that, it was quite challenging. Like I said, I was involved quite a bit with those. And to your credit, and Ken Kimbrell, the chair at the time, I think you guys did a great job of really keeping things focused and getting the standard out. And I think another fringe benefit was we got a lot of new members.
Absolutely, especially our younger group that has come in, and they were able to get involved very quickly with task groups who are working virtually. And again, we're looking for subject matter experts who can share their wisdom and collaborate with folks within the industry in many levels. In some cases, could be a competitor if you're a supplier. And it was a good experience because the younger group are already familiar with
Yep.
you know, meetings. We had to learn how to do Teams and WebEx and 3 or 4 other formats of hosting virtual meetings. So it was a good experience.
And just to be clear, anyone can be a member of those task groups, right? You don't have to be a member of the ASME.
Correct. The only thing, well, typically the way we recommend folks starting to get involved is to find a task group that's covering a topic that is of within your level of expertise, where you can contribute from whatever perspective you had, whether it's, you know, whatever balance of interest you have, whether it's an end user, engineering, manufacturing, all the way through the supply chain. So it allows folks that can just simply do this on a volunteer basis to get involved And after they are exposed to the inner workings of ASME, they can also, through a resource development group initiative, to actually get access to vote online.
Yep.
Before they're full members, so they can actually work as a task group and vote at a task group level, and that, of course, leads to the next step in terms of being a subcommittee member and eventually a standards member.
Okay, and then if you are interested, we'll put the information in the video here. The next meeting's in Seattle, right? That's
Yes.
going to be coming up in September.
End of September, we have a Seattle meeting, and we do typically have 3 meetings a year. We have discussed whether or not we want to have some that are virtual, a virtual meeting a year, and mix and match between all face-to-face meetings and virtual, depending on the availability. We've had, throughout my last 2 terms as vice chair, we've had a lot of challenges in terms of hosting meetings through natural disasters, pandemics. Fortunately, we're in a much better place now than when we've been in the last few years, so we're happy to get people back face to face.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk a little bit about Behringer. You've been very busy at Behringer, and you have some new product lines coming into play.
Yes, Jim. I've been working on a tube management system and also hose management. So it's a little bit of a derivative from our main product line, which was been pipe and tube hangers and supports, for stainless process piping and utility piping. Now I'm looking at single-use tube, and the opportunity is really to ensure that all of that tube stays off the floor, so you're avoiding any tripping hazards. It's also more ergonomic as far as cleaning purposes. It's for the operators and technicians, as well as for the risk of possibly having any product issues.
Excellent, excellent. So maybe you could show us a few of the types of things that you've been working on, and
certainly,
and talk to that. And this fits right into the current Behringer piping management system, so they can go right to that. And then many of the skid manufacturers are starting to employ them on their systems too.
Correct. Yes. So we're taking a approach working with OEMs as well as end users to propose different options, whether this is to organize all your tube on the perimeter of the suites and having an access point to bring it into the center of the suite with whatever equipment that's being employed at the time. Bottom line is it's to keep it organized and off the floor. And so, for example, I have a tube holder, a single tube holder here. I have like 9 different sizes, and the purpose is to make it really simple so that anybody who's working in a lab, gowned and gloved, can operate this. Simply pinch and roll it into the slot. This pole clamp is an existing Behringer product, so essentially you're able to clamp this onto whatever round tube or square tube I have as well. And then operate whether you have single tube holders or a multiple tube holder, such as something like this, that goes on a vertical line and allows you to put multiple sizes. So it's a 90-degree rod, so it goes on your vertical piece of tube, clamps on there, and then simply put the multi-tube holder on, and I have retention screws here. So I have many options in terms of sizes and offering a multiple holder. The other thing that our objective was to come up with a no tool required product. So now I have knob screws,
or like a tri-clamp wing nut,
and a wider ergonomic wing bolt compared to our existing one, which wasn't quite as ergonomic. So that's kind of actually been a benefit to our product line as a whole. But having single and multi-tube holders that can adapt from anywhere from 1/4 inch to, again, this is a braided, it has a 1.4 inch diameter. And then from there, I'm going larger on our hose side. We have a hose tender that will work with larger diameter hose. And so ultimately is what I tried to create was something simple to use. Safety is on the utmost concern, and there shouldn't be any tools required to perform this. And so I have several portable stand options, individual tube holders. Not only that, but as far as how the attachment goes, if you are in a suite that has steel core walls or anything where there's going to be a magnetic surface that you can mount to, I have rare earth magnet option to hold up to 60 pounds of pull force. So there's
very nice options.
There's that, as well as, again, coming up with individual tube holders. I have multiple tube holders where I can have more than one at the same time. The objective is to mix and match to the user's requirements, and these can simply be put together as an assembly on the fly. And again, different inserts depending on your tube that you're working with.
So as you see here, we did some setups here in the Bioprocess Institute. You can see how you could create some tubing nightmares, and we see this all the time on the floor, where people either have tripping hazards or the tubing itself touches the ground, and that's usually by SOP and by design not allowed. And then with these devices that are there, you can see that Behringer has come up with a multitude of ways to adjust the height, so you could use one device for maybe multiple processes and connect them together. And as Dan described, there are many different sizes that can fit into them. Like this one here, Dan. What's this that we have here?
This is just simply showing a screw mount option for the full size range. We're going 1/4 inch up, and just showing the fit up with simple mounting methods with the 2 screws. And this is again one of the options that we have, in addition to a magnetic.
And then there's these stands that you make, and like you showed, you have just your regular tube connectors here with just a T-handle wrench can take this off and be adjustable and move these around quite easy.
The objective I had was to create a modular system to mix and match. Again, we're starting with a simple base, and we're clamping on a handle, whether it's required or not. You can put a handle, we can customize the height, and we'll be able to simply clamp on these pole clamps to suit whatever size tube and or hose. The benefit with this one here, which is the hose tender, is allowing this for a larger diameter hose. Have that mounted to the this little base. It's very simple. It's
stable. It's a clean design. I think the key is with all the sizes. This is a lot like Legos. Is you can really have different sizes to come together and mix and match in what you want to bring with the product line.
Right.
Which is great. So tell me, can you tell me what happened to the Bills in last year's playoffs?
Well, they had a very traumatic year with somebody dying 5 times on the field, which was very very traumatic for the players and
the fans.
The fans, yes. Again, that the sympathy only goes so far. If you don't show up for a game, you lose, and you start your summer. So, or your spring, I should say.
Yes.
So, that was unfortunate. And again, hope springs eternal, and this year's a new year.
And what's going to happen this year? Any changes there? What do you think about the Bills this year?
I think they have a great opportunity to run the table in the AFC East.
There's a new quarterback, I think, coming to the AFC East, isn't there? Could that have some challenges down in New York?
Oh, well, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood has a new chief in town. We'll see how he can move his 39-year-old body around.
Okay, and we're, of course, here in New England. We have our favorite here, and we'll see also what happens through the season.
Right.
Well, it's been great, Dan. I think your products are great. You're showing some flexibility, literally and figuratively, with what you're doing with Behringer. We really like it. Any other closing marks for Behringer and for the folks on Between Two Ferals?
We are excited for to work with customers to solve their problems and create solutions that can be applied throughout the industry. Fortunately, we've got great communicative lines between us as well as the end user, and we have a lot of partners that we're working together with to make this happen. Again, keeping it safe, easy to use, and no tools required.
Okay, and so the website will be listed on the video. If you want to contact Behringer and Dan, it'll be listed there. Thank you. Great time.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Yep.
Appreciate it.